It's time for our story today, and it's Friday. I picked one of my favorite stories that's called Monster Trouble. It's by Lane Fredrickson, and it's illustrated by Michael Robertson. It's another Scholastic book. This is the front cover, and this is the back cover. So when we open the story, we have a title page, and the title page, remember, it tells us the name of the story as well as who wrote it and who drew the pictures, the author and illustrator, and it tells us who made it. This looks like a fun story. I don't always think that monsters are scary. Let's find out what happens in this story. Winifred Schnitzel was never afraid, not of monsters or ghouls or the noises they made. She loved scary movies and werewolves and thunder and peg-legged pirates who bury their plunder. I don't know if you know this, but Mrs. Franco also really loves pirates. Still, Winifred's bedtime was hardly spook-free. The neighborhood monsters would not let her be. Each night they'd show up and attempt to be scary. Some would growl, some would belch, some were slimy and hairy. Ooh, look at those monsters. But all of their monsterly mayhem was moot because Winifred Schnitzel thought monsters were cute. Still, night after night, all those monsters kept creeping into Winifred's room, interrupting her sleeping. I think monsters are kind of cute too. Too tired for math, too exhausted for fun, she finally decided those monsters are done. She ordered a book titled Monsters Beware and constructed the sticky string small monster snare. She looks like she made a trap for the monsters. But that night, the big monsters all showed up first. The sticky string snare got so stretched out that it burst. There were monsters on bedposts and struck to the wall. They made slingshots from string. They were having a ball. Winifred sighed. They were louder than ever. She knew that she needed to try something clever. So she brought in some stinky old Limburger cheese, labeled Caution, makes big monsters sneeze. Those monsters called up that Goblin Street deli. They ordered in bagels and fish eyeball jelly. I guess they like stinky cheese. Winifred barely got through the next day. She dozed off in art class and snoozed through ballet. She decided, that's it. I've got to get tough. She was tired of monsters. Enough was enough. So she built every spook trap in Monsters Beware, and one of her own called the Prickly Bum Chair. Ooh, look at that chair. Ouch! Poor Winifred yawned. She was so very sleepy. She was starting to look a bit spookishly creepy. I think that's how Mrs. Franco looks when she's tired too. When the monsters showed up with their howling and roaring, Winifred Schnitzel was already snoring. She was dreaming of puppies when a big monster went hiss. She reached out and gave him a big sleepy kiss. One monster yelled, "Yuck!" All the others were heaving, one gagged, and a big monster shouted, "I'm leaving!" Winifred knew that despite their uniqueness, she discovered that monsters have one silly weakness. So she puckered and pouted and kissed them all good. Those monsters screamed, running fast as they could. Now Winifred sleeps very soundly at night. In the daytime, she's happy and perky and bright. But sometimes she finds that a monster's crept in right around bedtime with a monsterly grin. She ignores all the growling and roaring and hissing, since the one thing that all monsters hate most is kissing. The end. Have a good Friday, everybody.